I'm CBS News Philadelphia's Joe Holden with an investigation we've been working on concerning bridge crossings down the Jersey Shore. It was almost 2 weeks ago. It was early Sunday morning when what is known as the Middle Thorofare Bridge suddenly seized up. The span, known as the bascule span, it is a steel grate piece of the bridge that opens and closes, allowing tall ships and boats to pass, suddenly stopped working. The Bridge Commission at that point there in Cape May County decided the best way through this was to leave that span open so that the very busy fishing business and the community there could continue to reach port and bring in the very important part of their work, which is crab, oyster, scallops, to the very busy port there in Lower Township. We saw in 48 hours the Bridge Commission locate a motor, an auxiliary motor, that would then be able to continue to power that span and allow vehicular traffic to cross there once again. Middle Thorofare has been around since 1939, and it is not alone in its age. There are companion bridges up and down the Jersey Shore, starting from Ocean City to Strathmere, from Townsend's Inlet in Sea Isle City to Avalon, from Stone Harbor over to Middle Township, and then we get to Middle Thorofare, which, if you're not familiar, connects Diamond Beach, Lower Township, to the other side, which is also Lower Township. But the major communities of Cape May City and Wildwood Crest use this bridge on repeat. It goes back again to 1939. You know what also goes back a few years now? These reports, and they are bills of health on these bridges, these crossings that the Cape May County Bridge Commission is responsible for. And what our investigation has uncovered and what we're learning, there are significant structural problems with these bridges. Now, the commission, to its credit, has a very well-defined and spelled out maintenance program that deals with everything from what you cannot see below the water's surface to the bridge's superstructure, to steel girders and other members, railings, support columns, decking. Again, it is well defined in how they've managed these bridges beyond what are known as their lifespan. And right now, the Middle Thorofare Bridge, what we've learned according to these documents, that bridge, a critical connection down the Jersey Shore, is in critical condition. What that means, according to the federal government that keeps tabs on bridge inspections and projects, is that it is beyond its useful life, and it must either undergo a major rehabilitation or be replaced. What we've learned from these documents is there are plans, and they are conservative plans, because these documents point out these things should be addressed right now, is that not until 2030 will this span see a replacement. It will be known as an out-of-line replacement, so vehicular traffic will always, according to the documents, be able to flow across that inlet while another bridge is positioned in place. But what we're seeing is the significant hurdles around doing something like that. There are environmentally sensitive areas, there are wetlands, there's marshland, the wildlife and the considerations that come with it through the federal government and the state government, and also state oversight. It was really made for a difficult task with the Bridge Commission. Would you believe they started talking about replacing this span, the Middle Thorofare Bridge, again between Cape May and Wildwood Crest, going back as far as 2000, when a number of scenarios were outlined about what the public thought would be an appropriate crossing, and then what would actually work with the marinas and the businesses and the existing Ocean Drive. So the cost of the bridge hovering around $250 million just to replace that span that you, as a customer, if you take a round trip, you'll pay $2.50. By the way, that toll expected to go up to $3 in the winter. It was delayed from this past year. In all of these documents, though, we have windows. We have the the work of consultants and engineers that show the significant problems with these bridges. I've talked about some of them. I am not an engineer, but the engineer's work is in these pages. If we flip to any particular page, blue highlighted sections showing revisions from the original report in 2020 and 2022, it gives us all of the outlines of what they're going to do until 2030, when they can replace this span. And also the spans, again, connecting Stone Harbor and Middle Township and Townsend's Inlet there, Sea Isle City and Avalon, and then Strathmere and Ocean City. Middle Thoroughfare is the priority. The next priority on their list, the number 2 bridge, is that in Townsend's Inlet. And then in this report here, it also reveals that the stretch between Strathmere and Ocean City, that bascule span that swings up and down to allow boat traffic, it can't even function. Which brings us to almost 2 weeks ago with the span disabled, unable to open to allow the boat traffic to go through, is that there were warning signs in these documents that these motors are no longer able to be located or found because they're so old, so they have to piecemeal parts together to really bring these bridges, these spans that need to open and close, back to life. Part of the new considerations for new bridges are ones that don't have to move and don't have to open, but they are all under study. They are being investigated for how they can be best integrated down the Jersey Shore. As we say a lot around here at CBS News Philadelphia, yes, we are on your corner, but we are all watching out for you. And because of that problem, 2 weeks ago, between Wildwood Crest and Cape May, we put our resources to work and started looking at all of the available documents. We spoke to the Bridge Commission many times. Their membership, their elected officials, their executive director did not want to talk on camera, but they did help us understand the scope of their problems, and they want people to know that they cannot do this alone. They'll be turning to the federal government and the state for help in these significant projects that will take some time. We are told to be patient because it will be some time, but their work continues behind the scenes, and so does ours. Our work continues all the time here at CBS News Philadelphia. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Joe Holden for CBS News Philadelphia.